Blog Talk Radio.
This is your ZMN News Break. I'm Amina Anderson. The Air Force indicated its willingness to respond to North Korean aggression if it is called to do so, even as the Pentagon seemed reluctant to send any signal that might ratchet up tension after the latest North-South conflagration left 2 South Korean Marines dead and more than a dozen others wounded. U.S. commanders in South Korea declined to raise the alert level of U.S. service members, but some military officials were tasked with double-checking that all U.S. supplies and troops in the region are at the ready, should they be needed. Using a condom is a lesser evil than transmitting HIV to a partner, even if that means a woman averts a possible pregnancy, the Vatican affirmed. It signaled a shift in papal teaching as it explained Pope Benedict XVI's comments. The Vatican has long been criticized for its patent opposition to condom use, particularly in Africa, where AIDS is rampant. But the latest interpretation of Benedict's comments about condoms and HIV essentially means the Roman Catholic Church is acknowledging that its long-held anti-birth control stance against condoms does not justify putting someone's life at risk. The Saudi billionaire with a stake in Citigroup has invested $500 million in General Motors, whose shares returned to trading last week after its bankruptcy and bailout by Washington, his investment company said. Kingdom Holding Company, said Prince Al-Walid bin Talal, and KHC's buy amounts to 1% of GM's value, with the decision to invest in the automaker based on the global strength of the GM brand, the relatively attractive offering price, and the company's growth prospects in Brazil and China. The airline security kerfluffle and the nation's slow economic recovery are not undermining an uptick in Thanksgiving travelers taking to the skies, ensuring long security lines, potentially exacerbated by a planned boycott of body scan machines. The Air Transport Association of America says it expects a 3.5% increase in the number of passengers traveling on domestic airlines this Thanksgiving holiday season, compared with last year. The U.S. Transportation Department is expecting an increase in driving this holiday as well, with a good portion due to the airport security scanner scandal.
First it was the banks, then insurance, then the car companies, then healthcare. Now, Washington wants to spend billions to take over the Internet. The FCC is considering new rules to regulate the Internet. In the last decade, the Internet saw explosive growth because government stayed out of the way. So why does Washington want to fix the Internet when the Internet isn't broken? Tell Congress, stop the Washington takeover. Don't regulate the Internet.
You want conservative talk radio with an attitude? Well, this ain't your daddy's talk radio, boy. This is the CB Media Night Train. The Night Train leaves the station at midnight, every night, for a no-holds-barred ride to the truth. Our hosts take a stand for what's right, and they don't back down. So get on board the Night Train.
Spread the word. 1 is by land, 2 is by sea, 3 is by government. Paul Revere Radio. Paul Revere Radio airs every Tuesday evening at 7 p.m. Eastern on Blog Talk Radio.
Despite the firestorm of controversy over using the high-tech body scanners at airports, hundreds of millions of dollars that are the Transportation Security Administration is spending or looking to spend on them makes it unlikely that they'll be getting shelved anytime soon. Each scanner costs about $130,000 to $170,000, the agency said, and President Obama's budget request for this year calls for $88 million to buy and install 500 new scanners. The TSA has spent $80 million on the scanners to date, including $73 million from stimulus funds. Teen mom and star, Amber Portwood, has real-life troubles. Last week she was charged with 2 felonies and a misdemeanor for repeatedly punching and kicking ex-fiancé Gary Shirley on an episode of MTV. Now, the state of Indiana has made her little girl a ward of the state. Portwood and Shirley appeared at an emergency child placement hearing on Tuesday and were told the little girl is a ward of the state. The child is currently staying with Shirley, even though the Department of Child Services is evaluating her living situation. DCS will determine if Shirley's home is suitable as the child's permanent home. I'm Amina Anderson, ZMN News. Truth, not hype. Have a safe and happy Thanksgiving.
Zinc Media. Feel the power of knowledge.
We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain virtues of holy, and among these are liberty and
call this morning is 347-426-3404. And, of course, if you're out there listening in the cloud universe, just press 1 on your keypad. Don't forget to check out rodeccles.com for the daily picture and daily video. Some good stuff for this weekend, this holiday weekend, as well as more stuff that you need to know about the TSA over on the Don't Touch My Junk page. More stuff has been added. And we're going to talk about one of the things that people haven't done is, they've speculated a lot about TSA agents. In fact, I have a story here about some people being afraid of some TSA agents being gay and happy to pat down their potential male passengers. Now, I already said that. I already brought that to you, but that is now a full-fledged story. If you will, and it's really kind of interesting to first of all, you have to understand how this whole process is working. Now, not every single passenger has to go through this TSA scanner or pat-down process. Most passengers get to go through the regular metal detector and sniffing machine. I don't know the rules or the guidelines for picking out certain people, but maybe it is just by pure numbers. Maybe it's every 5th passenger or every 7th passenger or every 11th passenger, plus those who might look suspicious. Now, I don't know, since you're not allowed to profile, I don't know what would constitute somebody looking suspicious. Obviously, a 72-year-old grandmother bringing a batch of homemade fudge to her family constitutes suspicious. Obviously, a 7- and 8-year-old boy constitutes suspicion. Obviously, a 3-year-old girl with a reporter father filming the whole thing constitutes suspicion. My one question of the boy that they caught on film, really molesting. There's no other way to say it. I'm sorry. Where it appears the dad is looking on. Why did he not go through the scanner? That, because it isn't a news story. It's just a citizen film recording. We don't know all the details, but still, what would necessitate? Did the dad look really suspicious? I'm asking questions that we're not getting answers to. Did the dad really look? I mean, really, did the dad look suspicious? Was the dad on any kind of watch list? Was the mom? I don't know. Maybe the grandparents. Maybe the uncle. And this would justify subjugating a 7 or 8 year old boy to what he was subjugated to. It's mind-boggling. Now, there are people speculating, and I have agreed, that they want to make the pat down as uncomfortable and as unpleasant as possible. I'm telling you right now, for some unknown reason, or at least unknown to the public right now, they want us going through those scanners. Now, I can't put my finger on it why. And it can't be just to take keep our picture of our nude body, because one, the person can change their body inside of a month. I mean, you can be fat one day, and then inside of a month you can be on your way to being very slim and very well built. But that's not the case. And yeah, lots of Americans do it. Lots of Americans do. I mean, as frequently as some people fly, so even if you fly 4 times a year, once a quarter, you could go through a body scanner with a totally different body every 3 months. Literally. With today's technology, science, and knowledge of body mechanics and everything, you could go through a scanning machine quite differently every 3 months. So it isn't to catch your shape. There's got to be something else about this, because there's talk about putting these things in mass transit stations, bus stations, docks for boats. You want to go on a cruise, got to go through the nude body scanner. Why is this? There's something more insidious behind these body scans. I'm sorry, there is. And call me somebody who doesn't trust his government much at face value. But I got to ask you, why are they so determined to put us through these scanners? All the while knowing that in tests as early, or I should say as late as May and June of this year, body scanners missed some dangerous stuff. Yes, they're not infallible. Even though they can see your genitalia, and you can probably count the hairs on down there, somehow they've been able to miss. And this isn't stuff that's put in any body cavity, oral or otherwise. It's missed stuff. In fact, there was a test I saw on the online here that they conducted, and unfortunately I could not. I should have kept the link, but I could not copy the video to put it online. But they were doing a live test, and I don't know why this hasn't gotten out in the news. Well, you should understand the mainstream media. But they went through the scanner in a test in May of 2010. The body scanner did not detect a gun. A small one, but a regular police-style pat-down, not TSA pat-down, a regular police-style pat-down would have and did detect the weapon. So the groping stuff isn't necessary. It really isn't. But this is a lazy man's way of the TSA doing their job. It really is. There is some other than money. Now, I know there's big money behind these machines because they cost about $130,000 to almost $200,000 a piece. But there's something else more insidious behind these things. Because the government doesn't care if certain stuff gets used. They still spend the money on it. So why does the government really care that much to make you go through these scanners? I'm asking a very obvious and logical question.